Then the last point that I like to make is with olive oil makes vegetables taste better. And it makes the vegetables taste better that are the best for us. The vegetables that are the best for us also tend to taste bitter. And it has to do with the phytonutrients that are in them that contribute to a bitter taste. So things like broccoli and spinach and kohlrabi and kale, things that people tend to not enjoy because as Americans we tend to steam them, we tend to boil them, we don't cook them properly. But if you cook those vegetables in olive oil, a couple of things happen. One is that you make them taste better, so you increase your consumption of them. The other thing is that the components that make those vegetables healthy for us are a whole family of phytonutrients that are called carotenoids. And the carotenoids, beta-carotene is one of them, but there's also lycopene, lutein, zeaxanthin. There's over 600 carotenoids that have been isolated, and less than 10% of them have been studied. So there's many more that are important. But what they seem to do, what the carotenoids seem to do, is they seem to be very powerful in fighting cancer. They work inside the cell in what's called cell communication, and they keep the cell's little chambers open so that if there's cancer in the cell, the surrounding cells can come in and kill the cancer. So they help fight the cancer in that way. They seem to congregate in different organs. Some, for instance, lycopene congregates in the prostate, and it's related to decreased risks of prostate cancer. Lycopene is very high in tomatoes. There's other ones like lutein, which concentrates in the eye and has been shown to decrease macular degeneration. Not cancer, but certainly as people get older, they're concerned their eyesight will stay there. So these carotenoids are very powerful in fighting cancer and in helping with health promotion, but they are fat-soluble components, meaning that they need fat to be absorbed. And there are recent studies showing that. So that means that if you have these dark vegetables without fat, you don't get the vegetables, you don't get the healthy components into your body. And there are recent studies showing that the benefits seem to improve if you cook the vegetable in the olive oil. Something about the cooking process increases even more carotenoids into your body. It could be that when you cook something, you break up cell membranes and release the carotenoids, get them into the olive oil, get them into your body. But if you're eating dark vegetables, hoping to improve your health, and you're not having them with fat, you will not absorb those into your body. So when I ask people to use more olive oil, I find that they do tend to eat more vegetables. So it's nice they go hand in hand, and they help each other and bring them into your body. So those are the benefits of olive oil for heart disease and cancer. Cold press refers to, as I say, the process. There's no heat applied in the process. My understanding of when it doesn't say cold press, it's when it's spun. When they press it in metal tins, they press it through metal containers, inside of metal containers, and when it spins, there's some heat generated from the metal, but it's not heat applied. You use heat to extract the vegetable oils out. The way that olive oil is made actually is the same way it was made 6,000 years ago. They put it in presses and they use something to turn it around and push the olive oil through it. So cold press makes it slightly better from a flavor standpoint, but I am not sophisticated enough to pick up the flavor that I'd say it's worth the price. I can't remember how many varieties of olives there are, but I know there's more than 40. I've read different things, and they come in different colors and sizes. Like some of them, you look at them, if you get a jar of mixed olives, you'll notice some are black, some are sort of a burgundy, some are more of like a gray. They vary in their colors, and it has to do with whatever they are. Some are softer, some are harder. When they press the olives oil from these olives, you get the different colors. Now, where it can be, I think, to your advantage is that if you buy olive oil that's from like an estate, something like buying red wine, it will be from one type of olives, and it does taste different. They do taste different when you buy them in that way. Like if you buy them from Italy, if you buy them from Spain, and they're just from, they're more fancy bottles, they tend to cost more, but it is similar, as I say, to buying wine. They do have different flavors. Now, I will admit that there was a time when I would think that olive oil that was $20 for a bottle seemed like a lot of money. But my rationale changed when one time I was out eating, and I thought, if you're out to eat and you buy a bottle of wine, you know, for the table, it's at least $20, and it's going at the meal. Whereas if you buy a nice bottle of olive oil, that is $20, and you use a tablespoon here, a tablespoon there, they're in a liter you have over 60 tablespoons, and then at the smaller bottles, the 17 ounces, there's about 33 tablespoons. So you do get a lot of servings out of this. And it does make a difference from the standpoint of when it's not heated. When olive oil has heat applied to it, you lose a lot of the flavor to it. That's why you can actually bake with olive oil. Recipes that require a liquid oil, you can use olive oil in them. You don't want to use the real strong olive oils, but there are plenty of extra virgin olive oils that you can buy. Regular olive oil it doesn't have flavor to it. That's how you can tell if something's regular olive oil. That's my rule of thumb. If you're out in a restaurant and they serve you what is olive oil, if it has no flavor, if it's grease without a flavor, it's not extra virgin. Okay, but when you use a nice olive oil, typically you don't put it in a pan and put heat on it, because that, as I say, takes away the phytonutrient that brings flavor to the olive oil. So that's why people are less likely to do it. And usually it's because it's more costly, people think of using it just on fresh vegetables. Another way you can use it is pour it into soups. Put it on the top of soups. That's a Tuscan way to serve soup. Either pour it onto the top of the soup or put it on the bread, the stale bread, and put the bread in the bottom of the bowl and then have the soup on top. If you were to take fresh broccoli, yes, you can cook it into olive oil, but it's a more hard product. It's not that soft. You can do it. You can chop it real small, and it gets like a real crunchy flavor to it. The longer you heat a vegetable in olive oil, the longer you heat it in any fat, but olive oil being a healthy one, it caramelizes the carbohydrate in it and makes it sweeter. That's why onions get sweeter as you cook them. I personally try to promote more of frozen vegetables from the standpoint of frozen vegetables are grown to peak ripeness, and so they are darker in color. They have more carotenoids, I would think. They also are all ready to use, so you can keep more in your house. You can keep bags and bags of frozen vegetables. You don't have to keep going out and getting fresh broccoli. And some of these vegetables that are very good for you and taste bitter, they also don't smell very good when they're rotting. So if you had them in your freezer, it's not as much of a problem. And the other thing is they're very clean. They're all very clean, so they're ready to use. What I do is I take the frozen vegetables, put them in the microwave in a glass bowl, and I'll either just put them on defrost or put them on medium heat just to get the chill out of them, and then put them into the olive oil. You could put them right into hot olive oil, but they have water in them, so they spit. But most bagged vegetables have very little water in them. I mean, I seldom have to drain out broccoli or even spinach. I just defrost them and then, as I say, use them right into the olive oil. So I'm a bigger promoter of frozen vegetables.